Hey, welcome back to Chippo Fishing. Today's little tutorial is long rods, spider rigging, setup. Okay, it's windy, it's the fall, it's getting ready to be time. They're getting ready to possibly staging up, we're gonna see. So what I've got here is got some heavier jig heads, heavier weights. Why the heavier weights? Well, your jig in bouncy water will sit here with heavier weights and move like this. With a lighter weight, your rods will flex more and they'll be bouncing, which looks a lot less natural. So keeping the bait in the strike zone is key. So what have we got going here? Okay, what we got going here is we are going to use a polymer knot, 2 jig heads. I'm using a hand tied and another jig head for soft plastics. I've got these together. You run a loop through your weight. This is called a polymer knot. It's a good knot to know. You run it through, double it up, run it through, loop it around. Simple overhand knot, and then bring this big loop over on top and then pull it up. This is great. Well, this is called a Kentucky rig. Why do you want a Kentucky rig? There's all different styles that you can use, but basically Kentucky rig, if you come across your structure, using this as structure, this hangs up, boom, you break off a weight. And breaking off a weight, you can retie it in that distance. But jig heads, soft plastics, hand ties, all that costs money. So weights are a lot less easier. Okay, now that I have these 2 free here, I'm going to tie a loop knot. How do you tie a loop knot in this situation? I'm going to double it up. Take 2 fingers. Double it up. Take 2 fingers. Make a circle. Come through. Grab it all. Come through 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then secure it, snug it down. You probably don't want a lot when you're tying this with casting or jigging jigs. You want a very close loop knot. You want a little bit more here, and I use a little less length here and a little more length on the top. I got them spaced a good 1.5 foot apart, 1.5 feet. All that really varies with your condition and how the fish are and stacked up. 1, 2, and whoops, 1, 2, 3. See, I'm learning how to count, folks. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're gonna set it down and snug it up. That's how you can control the length, is by setting it down. There's less hanging weight and you're able to control the distance. Now what am I going to do? Okay, I have to get my correct length and a little bit of room. I've opened up my bail. I'm going to click my bail, tighten it up. I'm going to put my bottom jig in my hook keeper. I'm going to hold this on here, hold it over here so it doesn't get tangled up. I'm going to tighten this up. Then after I tighten that up, I don't want to get it super tight, but I'm going to take my hair bands, come here and go to my next eye. Well, that might be too much, but okay. If you don't want to use your hair ties, see, that's got a little bit of slackness in it. You want to bring it on up. Bring it on up. Hold it out. Separate them. Bring it up. And then you want to secure your line, and then you can attach from here to your eye. See how that is? Doesn't bounce around. Now the sinker, what are you going to do? You're going to take it, always go the same direction, so when you undo it, and then we're going to stow it, and you sort of go through the opposite on there. So it's best to secure your rigs when you come in, so that when you go back out and you're under the same conditions, you want to use the same rigs, you're good to go. Thank you very much for joining me on Chippo Fishing. We appreciate you. I like spider rigging. It's enjoyable and it's fun to do. So take care and we'll be seeing you. Peace. Okay, spider rigging, double rigs, windy. You're gonna use heavy weight. I've got Jinko's Spider Troll. Excellent rods, excellent rods. A lot of backbone, but sensitive. I love the way they load up. And handle the heavy weight and the wind. You want to use a heavier weight because your bait's actually sitting there. The rod will flex. The rod tip will flex a lot more. If you use a lighter weight, your rod tip doesn't flex as much and your bait keeps on going more up and down like this. So you want a heavier weight with the wind or stronger current. Here I've already got rigged up. I am utilizing some hand ties and I'm going 1/4 ounce jig. Seems heavy, yes, but that's what you're gonna need in this strong breeze. So nice little hand tie here. Without my glasses. How challenging is this? Woo! Win the prize right there. And then we're gonna go, I'm using orange and pink heads, and I'll be putting some soft plastics on there. I'm gonna slide 2 through here. I'm gonna do a polymer knot. What's polymer knot? Real fast. So here we go. I'm going to give myself a little slack. Go through your weight. Polymer is a strong knot. Plus, on top of that, you've got 2 strands going through. Come back, make a very simple overhand knot. You gotta give yourself enough line to work with. Very simple overhand knot, and then go over top of your hook or your weight or your lure and come back. There you go. That should hold. And if it doesn't hold, this is called a Kentucky rig, folks. So the Kentucky rig is actually on the bottom. So if it gets hung up, you lose your weight versus losing a jig or hand ties. So here we go. How do I go from here? You want probably a good foot. It varies depending on what you're trying to do, where you're at. So a good foot, I'm gonna tie a loop knot. 2 fingers, circle around, go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna make the bottom one a little less length, snug it up. I'm gonna come up about a foot. Hope y'all can see with the sun. If not, I'll do this video at another time in a closed-in area, so give us the best estimate. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to give this one a little bit more room on the loop knot. You don't want too much. If you have too much, it'll come in and get hung up in here. So if you have 1.5 inches, 2 inches is stretching it beyond that. Video is going to be on spider rigging, how to rig your double rig. It's windy, it's breezy, it's fall. So I've got a large weight on my Jinko Spider Troll 14-foot rods. Really love them. They load up easy, So I'm going to show you how to tie it. We're going to be utilizing some hand ties. Ooh, looky there, Chippo jigs. Some hand ties and some plastic. So first you're going to feed on, hey, without glasses, isn't that sweet? Smooth maneuver. We're going to use orange and pink heads today, majority of them. And I'll be putting soft plastic on there. I'm varying top, bottom. Put on 2 jigs. I'm using 1/4 ounce jig heads. Heavy? Yes. But do the job in the wind. It will keep your, and we're going to use a polymer knot. Now, why do you want to use such a heavy weight? Because the rod's load up. With a lighter weight, your rods are going to be bouncing a lot more, which causes your bait to go boom, 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 which is not that attractive for a fish with a heavier weight. Your rods do the action, loading up, loading down on the top of the surface. Your bait stays more consistent, more representative life. This is polymer knot, doubled through. Works great for lures, hooks, and in this case, weights. This is called a Kentucky rig. With the Kentucky rig, it is on the bottom. That way, if it hangs up, you lose a weight. You don't lose 2 jigs. Plus, if you can get close to your structure,